So truncate is used to delete the data, to remove the data which is available in the table. So this truncate will be available only on a table, because database schema and whatever the intermediate objects, these will be just formed as hierarchy, but only the data will be stored in tables only. So that's the reason data is available in table. So this truncate also works only for table. So the syntax is truncate table, table name, whatever the table name is there, that table we have to give. So currently we have just created a table, we don't have any data in this particular table. So that's the reason we cannot show the difference, but just I'll run the command. While talking about dml commands, I'll show you the difference. So now if I just run this command, normally the data will be removed from the object. So this is does not exist or not authorized. Okay. So I my context is set to d underscore sql renamed database and public schema. So it is searching in this schema, but in public schema this particular table is not there. So it is throwing error, saying the object does not exist, or either you don't have permissions to operate on that objects. So first we'll go and see, okay, in my public schema I don't have any table with the name of table trainee details renamed. So I have to either change the context or use the proper table name. Proper table name in the sense fully qualified table name. So to get that fully qualified name, you can go in this way: learning underscore renamed schema and tables folder, and whatever the table you want to place, you can just click on the three on the object. If you just hover your mouse button, you'll get three buttons. So if you just click on this, you'll get place name in editor. So just if you click on that, the wherever at whatever point in your worksheet you want the table name, fully qualified table name, that table name will be available. So database name dot schema name dot table name. So now if I run this command, just click on the run, it says statement executed successfully. So this is the truncate statement. Okay, we'll not see much difference. I mean, data wise I cannot show you because we don't have data currently. Okay, after truncate, the other ddl command is drop. So truncate is used to delete the data which is available in the table. But if you want to remove the table itself from the account, Snowflake account, or if you want to remove the schema itself from the account, or if you want to remove from the database itself, any object if you want to remove from the account, then we will go for the drops command. Okay, so if I start with the database, if I drop the database, automatically the childs which are available in the database. So what are the childs? So for a database, the childs are schema. So under schema, what we do have, we may have tables, views, stages. So if I drop the parent, that is database, then automatically my childs also gets dropped. So that's the reason I'm starting with table, how to drop a table. So drop, this is syntax drop, and what type of object you are going to drop. Object type, it's table here, and the table name. So table trainee details renamed. So if I again run this statement, it will fail because I haven't used a fully qualified name. So that's the reason I can just change my context to learning renamed. And if I start executing, so I will keep cursor anywhere and click on the run button. So table trainee details renamed successfully dropped. So if I just want to go and see the tables list which are available, just show tables. So currently I don't have any table with the name of table trainee details renamed. So if I just expand in the right left side also, here a refresh is required. So the table has been gone from the account. So if you want to describe the table also, other method of execution is, every time no need to click on the run button, just control enter, keep anywhere cursor. If you have ended with semicolon, and keep cursor, sorry, control plus enter, then the statement will execute. So it is saying table trainee details rename does not exist or not authorized. So in our criteria, it is not existing because we have dropped the table. So in this way, if I want to drop the schema, then drop schema and schema name. Whatever the schema name, if you want, you can drop it. So if I just keep my cursor and use the keyboard shortcuts to execute, just control enter. Learning renamed schema successfully dropped. So if I just see show schemas, I have only information schema and public schema. So here if I just refresh, so my learning schema has been removed from the database, and in the learning schema I do have one table called table trainee details, that also removed from the account. So if we are removing the parent, automatically the childs which are available in that parent also gets removed. If you want to describe drop database, then you can use the drop. The object type is database and the name of the object, it's a d underscore sql rename. So if I do this, my database will be removed from the account. So here currently, if I just get the list of the databases, show databases, I do have only Snowflake and Snowflake sample data. So here still it's appearing because we do need a refresh. So after refresh, your d underscore sql rename has been removed from the account. Okay, so this is about truncate and drop. Any doubts up to here? We'll move to the DML commands.
Yeah, one question like once you truncate or drop, is there any way to restore them?
Yes, we can undrop the databases, and truncate we cannot restore the data. But we do have a time travel option, so you can go back to that particular time and can restore. But if it is a database, whatever, like you have used the drop command, we can do undrop.
Okay. So one more thing, like before dropping, do we have to do truncate or can we can do the drop table directly? I mean, like can we use it directly without deleting the data?
No, we can drop directly. See, if there is a requirement to remove complete object, then we can use drop statement directly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any others? Okay. So if not, like we'll just switch back to the DQL and DML commands. So DQL commands are like only one command is there, that is select. So here data query language to query your data. So we have created an object. Suppose like data will be residing only in a table, not in a database and schema. So if you want to query the data from your table, so what will you use? The select clause. So select whatever the columns you do require, you will retrieve the data. So we'll call it as a querying of the data or retrieval of the data from the table. So here how can we do? So only one command, select command is there. So if you want to get all columns information from a table, then what you will do? You will just do a select star from table. Star represents like how many columns, like 10 columns, 50, 100, 200 columns are there in a table. So you will get all the columns information as a output. But if you want specifically like only few columns you do require, then what we have to do, like we have to mention the column names and give the information. So that we'll see, but before that I have dropped everything, tables, databases. So we'll just recreate everything. So create database and create schema, create table. Okay, I'll go with this. Now what I will do, I want to retrieve the data from these particular table trainee details for all columns. So then what I can do, I just give the command select star. So star symbol represents all columns from where you are retrieving the data from a table. So that's the reason, like again we are not giving any syntax from table name, because we can retrieve the data only from tables and byproducts of tables, like views, streams. So that's the reason, like no need to give anything like from table, because while creating we will say create database, create table, alter table, a drop table, truncate table. So we have said here, but in DML commands no need to do that, because data will be residing only in one particular place, that is tables. So if I just run this command, so it's saying compilation error, some issue with the uh, statement. So it is saying object does not exist or not authorized. So if I just go and see, okay, my D underscore SQL is there, learning schema is there. Okay, table I have created. Okay, just so again I'm running the select star from table. So now if you see the column names, whatever we have created, trainee ID, trainee name, skill. But as we haven't inserted any data, so that's the reason query produced no results. Only the columns list we are able to see. Suppose if we want to don't want to use the star, if I want to use the column names itself, all the column names itself, then how can we mention it? Select the column names, whatever your table consists, trainee ID, comma, trainee name, comma, skill. So for each column, you need to provide a delimiter called comma. So then only it will treat, okay, this is the second column, this is the third column by the compiler. So again, from table name, whatever the table name you tell, that table is. So the same thing. Suppose out of three columns, you want only the information of two columns. Then also you can mention select whatever the column names you want, trainee name, comma, skill from the table name. So then you'll get only the list of the information related to the trainee name, comma, trainee name and skill. So this is just DQL command, because we don't have any data, we'll not see. But while doing data operations, we do require this select. So I have explained ahead. So now we'll come to the DML commands. So DML commands means data manipulation language. We have created tables, so we have, after creating the, our work is not completed, we have to put some data into that particular table object. So for doing that, we have insert, update, delete, merge. So insert means just briefing, like just loading the data, keeping the data into the table, we will say it as a insert. And update means already some data is there, but few columns information has changed. Then what you will do, you will just use the update and update the new values into the existing values. So this is about update. Delete, so delete means like we, if you want to remove the data based on some criteria or complete data, if you want to remove, then you can go for the delete statement also. But truncate also does the same thing, right? Truncate also removes the data from the table, but delete also does the same thing. Truncate means it's a full removal of the data. Suppose if your table have consists of 1 million records, if you use the truncate statement without any check, it will remove complete data. But delete statement means like you can apply some filter conditions and you can also do a full delete also, no problem, you can do that. So this is the difference, and we'll see how performance wise how it will work also. And merge is the operation like where you can do all these type of activities. Suppose you have a requirement, at a time you have to perform insert, you have to perform update, you have to perform delete, or any two or any three if you want to perform, we'll use the merge statement. So currently in our class, like I'm not going to explain about the merge statement. We do have a streams concept, so at that time I'll explain clearly like what is the merge statement and how we will perform all three operations at a time: insert, update, delete. So first we'll start with insert. So now this insert also can be done in three methods, like not much difference syntactically, but using the columns, giving the column names, without giving the column names. In that way we will see method 1. So now what we are doing, inserting the data into the table. So that's the reason the syntax is insert into table. So whatever the table you want, whatever the data you want to insert, into that table, like we are just inserting the data. So before that, like I mean, I have a doubt saying like, how will you know like this is the data I want to insert? So for every time we'll get a requirement saying like, okay, this is the data you want to insert into your table. So I'll just show you the data also. Okay, this is the data I got from my customer. I want to load these 7 records into my table. So, with the help of this data, we have created a table with the column names and respective their data types. We thought it will suffice integer, and for trainee name varchar, and skill it's again varchar we have used and created a table. Now our part is to insert these 7 records. So in real time projects, do we get only 7 records? No, not at all. So it's just a class, that too demo class for SQL practice. So I have just taken a few sample data set, but in real time, we will not load only 7 records or 10 records. We will have like thousands, millions of records also there. So that cannot be done like through this insert mechanism. We will go for the other methods also. Through stages we have, through console we can upload the data, or if we are not using both, like we will go for the ETL also. So now my motto is I have to insert these 7 records. So now I'll switch back to my Snowflake and insert into table name, and you have to represent whatever the column names in your table, that column's information you have to give. So trainee ID, trainee name, skill, so all separated with comma. So comma separates each column. And now you have just given the header information. So header information in the sense column names information. Now you have to load, you have to just pass the values into these particular columns. So now I am passing values. So because I'm passing the values, I'm using the state keyword called values and the respective values. So under trainee ID, so whatever the position you give the trainee ID, in that position only you have to provide your value. So trainee ID is available in the first position, and the value of trainee ID in the Excel also it's 1. So you are passing 1. And trainee name, so trainee name of trainee ID 1 is George in the sheet. So I'm using the George. I mean, under the trainee name, I'm passing the value called George. Skill Snowflake. So if you just observe, like only for integer data type or number data type, I haven't used any single quotes. But for varchar data type, for trainee name and skill, I have used single quotes, because whenever we are passing varchar values, date timestamp values, we need to pass that value mandatorily in single quotes. If we are not passing in single quotes, it will not take it as a data. And the most rememberable thing in the insert is like whatever the ordering you will give, in the same order you need to provide the values also. Then only it will think, okay, the one belongs to the first position column value, George belongs to the second position column value, the skill belongs to the third position value. So in this way it will understand. Now what I will do, I'll just run this statement. So just selecting 2 lines. And one more thing, you can write this statement in a single line or in multiple lines. There is no issue. Just for understanding purpose, I have to use 2 lines. So whatever, like in how many lines if you write also, you are ending with one semicolon, then it will treat this particular entire line as a single query. So now if I run this command, it is saying okay. So here I haven't given the comment, right? So that's the reason. So now it has thrown some error saying table trainee details not authorized, does not exist or not authorized. I'm just keep on repeatedly recreating this error, because just to remember, like either we have to go fully qualified name or we have to set the context. So just remembrance purpose, now I will just set this context and run this statement. So control enter, so it is still throwing error, but it's different error than whatever we have seen earlier. So it's a no active warehouse selected in the current session. Select an active warehouse with the use warehouse command. So while creating or altering, dropping, truncate, none of the time like we have encountered this issue, so selecting the warehouse. But when you are doing DML operations, like insert is a DML operation, then what happens, you got this error saying like warehouse is not there. So for performing DML operations, DQL operations, we do require a warehouse. So this warehouse is a virtual warehouse in Snowflake, which provides compute resources to perform this action. So just like remember, compute resources, CPU, RAM, temporary storage, these things will be allocated to each query by a warehouse, by a virtual warehouse in Snowflake, to execute or to perform that action. So that's the reason, like while we are running DML or DQL, we should use we should must and use a warehouse. But here earlier you have ran the DQL statement, right? At that time we haven't seen the error, because in this table data is not there. So when the data is not there, warehouse is not required for DQL commands. But if the warehouse is not, I mean data is available in the table, and if you are running without a warehouse, then it will throw error. So now what we'll see, like we'll just use a warehouse, existing warehouse. So currently two methods are there. Through UI you can set your context of a warehouse, or normally you can use the statement also. So to use the statement, you have to write it as a use what type of object you are going to use. It's a warehouse, so warehouse, and the warehouse name. Or the other method is just click on the I mean on the top right, and here you have an option to select warehouse. So currently we do have compute underscore wh. Either you can just click on this, or you can write the statement use warehouse. So first we'll see how it works with the command. Now currently I haven't set my context, just I'm running this use warehouse, compute warehouse. And okay, because I haven't given any comments for this line, so that's the reason it's throwing error. Okay, so I will select and run this statement, executed successfully. So if you just see, automatically the warehouse, when I run the use command, automatically the warehouse also appeared in the context. So this is the method. Now I will run my insert statement. Okay, so here in the output message, we are seeing number of rows inserted, that to one record. Now, if I just want to retrieve the data, so retrieve the data, how can I do? Just select star, or just you can specify like whatever the column names are there, you can specify that column names also. So now what I will do, select star from table. So I can see under the trainee ID the value is 1, under the trainee name it's George, skill as Snowflake. So in the similar method we will load the second record also. So the second record is insert into the table name. Here I have used the fully qualified name, database name dot schema name dot table name, and the list of the columns. So after providing the list of the columns in the same order, I have passed my values also. Now, if I just run this statement, the other record also gets loaded into the table. So number of rows inserted as 1. So now if I retrieve the data from the table, I will get two records. One is for George and the other is for Mary. So to Mary talent. So in this way, you can load the data into the table using the first method. And using the method 2. So method 2, what it means, like when you are familiar with the table, or if you are confident, okay, I am giving in the same order whatever the table has been created, the columns, the list of the columns whatever has been created, I do know properly, so I'll give in the same list order, then you can go for the method 2. In the method 2, insert into table name, and you will not provide the list of the columns, the header information whatever we are providing here, that information we will not provide. And but for sure, you have to give the order of the values whatever we have created the table, like in the table, trainee id is the first position, trainee name is the second position, skill is the third position. So you have to remember, and you have to pass the values in the same order, otherwise the data gets jumbled or the failure will happen. So now I'm not giving any header statement, directly I'm passing values for the 3 Harris Informatica. So if I run this statement, my data got inserted, and again if I want to see the fourth record, I am just using the same method to and inserted the data. So now if I do the select star from the table, I got the data 3 Harris Informatica, 4 calls SQL I have loaded into the table. So this is method 2. And in method 3, like we will provide the header information. It is not mandatory, you can ignore that header information also. And we can load in a single statement multiple records. So currently, if we see in a method 1 and method 2, I have written two statements, one for loading 3 Harris record and one for 4 calls record. But in a single step, in a single execution, I will load multiple records in the method 3. So if I want to say insert into table name and the set of columns whatever I am using, and these columns, and here values. So first record information is 5, the person name is J, and the skill is db2. Next, after completing this, like while completing the closure of the bracket, then you have to use the comma separator and start the next record. So the next record is for 6 cream, and skill set is SQL. So if you want to add, if you want to load multiple records, then comma, just in bracket, whatever the information is there, you can just load into the table. Like just a comma separator, you can load multiple records into the table. So now if I run this statement, what happens? Two records will get loaded at a time. Okay, so number of rows inserted 2. Earlier it is 1 and 1. So now if I just retrieve the data from this table, what I'll get? I will get select star from this table. So I got 5 J record which are having DB2 skill, and 6 scrim SQL record. So I got 2 records at a time. So this is the method 3. Method 3, like most of the times, like in our real time projects, if we want to load multiple records, this is like time taking process. So we'll just go with this method. But any method you can follow, there is no issue. Now until now, like we if we have three column, I mean in the table we do have three columns and we are passing three values. Suppose in a data set for the id 7, I didn't got the trainee name, only I have values for trainee id and skill. So in that case, like how can I load only for two columns, not for three columns? So that also we can do. So that how we can do, insert into table name, and here you have to specify mandatorily your column names, whatever the column names, column values you are loading, you have to specify your columns. So currently you are loading only for trainee id skill, so that's the reason only you have to mention these two columns and pass the values respectively. So the idea, I mean the explanation for this statement is, like if you don't want to load multiple, I mean for all the columns, only selective columns, if you want to load the data, you can just mention the order of those selective columns and give the data respectively. So trainee id 7 and skill is 5 tran. So for trainee name it will be populated as a null. So now if I run this statement, one record got inserted, and if we just see select star from table, only for trainee ID 7 and skill the value got loaded. So whenever if you are not loading the value into the table name or table column, what happens? Defaultly it will take it as a null. Null is and nothing. There is no value. So this is about insert statement using multiple methods. So up to here, any doubts?
Um, Hey Larry, good
Yes.
morning. Actually,
Yeah, good morning.
yesterday and day for yesterday before class, we were discussing about that warehouse means it is some kind of location for the near to get the queries because you have been taken example as a Flipkart or some
Uh,
Amazon kind of
yes,
thing, right? But now,
That
you
is data. That is data warehouse. Okay, this is virtual warehouse, a Snowflake object. Just providing, like they have used the name as a virtual warehouse, which
okay?
will provide the compute resources. It's not related to that physical thing, data warehouse. This is purely
Oh,
different.
okay. Okay, so this is where this virtual warehouse is like to execute the queries to use a
Yes.
memory kind of with a large,
Yes.
small Excel or
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
kind
Based
PDF.
on the based on the usage and the requirement, we'll just select our warehouse type, which warehouse type we do require. So again, warehouse type, what it will do, it will just allocate compute resources to perform this insert operation. So
Oh,
for doing any data changes, we do require this compute resources, which is nothing but RAM, temporary memory,
yeah, yeah,
and
got it. Okay.
CPU.
Yeah,
So this
sure.
is the
Thank you.
just a
Thank you.
kind of
I was got
Snowflake object.
confused. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Sorry, I was got confused about the warehouse.
No problem. No problem.
So that comes by default with the installation, or administrators has to configure for that.
Yeah, for default, like if you are using normal trial version or in a real time project, one default warehouse will come, which is called as a compute warehouse. But this will be handled again by administrator and business architects. They will decide like how the data is coming and what type of activities we have to perform, whether it's a frequent data or not. So based on some considerations, they'll decide what type of warehouse I should go with. Like is it extra small with maximized mode, standard policy? We do have many things while doing a warehouse, creating a warehouse. So yeah, everything, I mean, defaultly one warehouse will come, but in a real time projects, like we will create accordingly our usage.
Okay, thank you. One more question, so this is irrelevant to the database, right? The warehouse can be accessed by
Ah,
multiple databases.
yes, exactly. There is no relation. It's the hierarchy starts only from database schema, and the rest of the objects. But warehouse is just only used for DML and DQL. Without only for those activities, we will use the warehouse.
Okay. One question, so now you are using this complete uh, naming convention, right? But by mentioning the database name, schema name, table name to fetch the data. Like say for example, if I want data from two databases, I mean like from two tables which are residing in two different databases, can we get that? Like, is that possible?
Sorry, you are asking like at a time you want to get the data from two databases and two tables
Yeah, two tables from those two tables are residing in different databases.
with the same name.
I mean like they could be different. Like say for example, I need like five columns of data. The three
Mhm.
columns in table one and fourth and fifth column in
Ah,
table
yeah, yeah.
two.
Okay, understood. Like joinings, you
But
are saying.
yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah, we can do. We can do. Like it's not a mandatory. Like I have to join in the same schema, same database table. Nothing like that. You can go for any database, any schema, any table. You can join and get the information. There is no issue.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay, and I hope anyone others doesn't have anything. So I'll just go for the update statement. So insert we have completed, like in the initial time, like the customer has given this data set, we have loaded everything, and now in the table the data is available. After few days, just consider after 2 days, again the customer gave one more new data set with the updated values. That is, like for the rest of the IDs, for the rest of the trainee people, there is no change, but only for the ID 4, that too for trainee name as calls, have updated their skill to SQL and Unix. So earlier it was only SQL. Now the new skill has been learned, and we have to enter that information into our database. So we have to update this particular skill column. Existing value is SQL, and we have to update is SQL and Unix only for the calls. That is trainee ID equal to 4. So now what we have to do, we have two methods. One is first deleting the data of calls, and again reinserting the data with the new values. So this is the first method. Second method is, like instead of deleting and reinserting, we have an update statement. So with the help of update statement, you can just update whatever the columns you do require. You can update automatically. The old value will get erased, and the new value will be appear in that particular column. So for that reason, we'll go with the update statement. So now we'll see how it works. So the update syntax is update table name. So we can update only table. So that's the reason we are not saying update table name. So we can update the values available only in a table. So update table name, and we have to use the keyword called set. So we are setting the new value instead of old value. So that's the reason set, and which column you want to update. So currently in my requirement, only the skill column has been changed. So that's the reason skill with the new value, whatever your new value is there, that value. Again, I have used single quotes because it's a varchar data type. So that's the reason I have used the in a single quotes. And are you updating complete table? No, only for my trainee ID who is having the number as 4. So that's the reason I have used the filter condition. So your filter conditions will start with where. So once you complete your updates at everything, you have to use the where statement, and you are filtering whoever having the trainee ID equal to 4. I have to update the skill as SQL and Unix, and the rest of the records, it may be same. I don't want to touch that one. So now what we will do, we'll just execute this query, and this query can be written in a single line also, no problem. So if I do that, number of rows updated as 1. Okay, our expectation also the same thing. Only trainee ID 4 should update, and the rest of the records should not update. And number of multi-joined rows updated. So here we are using a single table and return the update statement. But when we are writing a update statement by joining multiple tables, if there is any cross join happens, at that time this value gets updated. So whenever you see some value in this particular cell, then you can blindly confirm your query is not proper, some cross join has happened. So currently we haven't used joins itself, so the value is 0, so I can say my query is perfect. So now we'll just go and see the data in the table, whether that table has been updated or not. For the trainee ID 4, we are seeing the output as 1, but we need to get confirmation. So 4 and calls, the skill has been updated to SQL and Unix. Earlier it was only SQL, now it has been updated to SQL and Unix. So in this way, like again deleting, inserting, reinserting the data, multiple steps, we can just go for the update, and we can set the column values. So is it a criteria like we can set on we can update in one query, we can update only one column? It is not the case. We can update multiple columns also, but your filter condition should be the same one. For only trainee ID 4, you can update the rest of the columns in your table. But if you want to update one ID information of skill and the other ID of trainee name, we cannot do that. We have to use the two update statements. Now after few days, once this four calls SQL and Unix, we got a one more data set saying all the rest of the columns are okay. There is no change happened. Only for the trainee ID 7, whoever is having name null is there, right? Earlier nothing has been given. Recently we got the name as Deva and the skill is 5 so skill there is no change and trainee ID there is no change. Only we have to update instead of null to Deva. So that how we will write, we'll see. So update table name, so fully qualified name or context name. Set what I am setting trainee name currently with the word called Deva in a single quotes as it is a varchar column. To whom I am updating? Only wherever trainee name is null. So whoever having trainee name as null, just update all the places. So here I am not using a filter condition of trainee ID equal to 7. So if I use that, only 7 uh, trainee name gets updated. So my requirement is not updating for the trainee ID 7. Whoever is having trainee name as null, for all those people, just update the name as Deva. So if we have other record in the table like 8 trainee name as null and the skill set is some xyz, so two records gets updated in the table because we are using the condition of trainee name is null. So now if I run this statement, my 7th ID record gets updated. So it is, if you see here, number of rows updated as well, number of multi join rows updated 0. So I can say my query is perfect. Now if I run the statement, so the null value has been gone and the new value Deva has been set to this trainee name and the skill and ID hasn't changed anything, and the rest of the records also doesn't changed anything because the trainee name is not null, it's having value. Now again few days, after few days we got the requirement. So the name of the trainee ID 7 is not Deva, it's just Dev, and skill also updated to Fivetran and Snowflake. So here the requirement is we have to update multiple columns, not only skill Fivetran and Snowflake, but we have to update the trainee name for the ID 7. So this is the requirement. Now what we can do, like we have to update two columns in a single query. So update table name, set first what I am doing trainee name equal to Dev and comma. So comma separates like okay, this is the first column value updation, and next skill. So earlier it was only Fivetran, now I am updating with Fivetran and Snowflake, for whom only for trainee ID equal to 7. So in this way you can update multiple columns just with the separator of comma. So now if I run this statement, number of rows updated still one only because we are updating only for 7 ID but two columns we are updating. So we'll see that also. Select start from table. Now it is for trainee ID 7. The name is Dev and skill has been updated to Fivetran and Snowflake. So in this way you can just update your single column or multiple columns with filter condition. So this is about update statement. Any doubts here? No? Yes?
We are good. Thank you.
Okay. So next, if we are good with the update, I'll just move to the delete statement also. So delete, what it will do, it will just removes the data from the table. So drop means it removes the object itself from the account, but delete is only used for a table and it just removes the data in the sense like this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, whatever we have inserted, updated, whatever we have played with the DML commands, that is called as data. So to remove the data, then we will go for the delete statement. Now the requirement is this particular trainee ID 5, who is J, doesn't belongs to our training institution. So we need to remove that record. That particular record only I have to remove. Then I'll go with the delete statement with the criteria of a filter condition. So delete from from where we are removing the data, so from a table, so that's the reason delete from and the table name, so fully qualified or context name. And we have to use the filter condition because we got the requirement only to delete the record of 5, trainee id 5, so that's the reason where trainee id equal to 5. So if I run this statement, only this record gets deleted. Suppose if I run the statement, one row got deleted, and if I see select star from table, my fifth record of J's information has been removed from the table. So if you don't want to use any filter condition, okay, I want to delete whole table, so can I do that? Or if you want to use I mean, two records you have to delete at a time, so first we'll see that, where trainee ID in, I want to delete 1 and 7 information at a time. So I can go with equals to will not work. Equals to only for one value. But in means you can pass n number of values. There is no issue. So currently what I'm doing, I'm deleting the ID of 1 and 7 at a time. So now if I run this statement, two records got deleted. So if I just retrieve the data from the table, select star from, I got only 2, 3, 4, 6 records only. 1, 2, just now we have deleted. Suppose it's not the case. I want to delete complete table. So we can we delete with the delete statement? Yes, we can do. So complete data means full removal of the data, so this can also happen through truncate also, but we can do with the delete also. So if I just run the delete statement, four records got deleted. So now if I see like delete, select star from table, none of the records are available in the table, so the delete happened. So for explaining truncate, like I do require data, so I'll just load our data once more. Okay, just we do have four records, no problem. So if I just do a retrieval of the data, select star from, so I have four records. So truncate also does the same thing, full removal of the data from the table. So the statement is truncate table, table name. So if I run this statement, my data gets deleted. So just I am getting statement executed successfully. Like it, we are not getting any error, say any message saying like these many records got deleted, four records, two records, nothing like that. Just it is giving statement executed successfully. So here if you see, nothing is there. So why we do have two different things? See, same operation we are doing with the delete also, why we are going with the truncate? So one not one, its major difference is, see, according to the performance wise, if you do have a huge table or any table, just consider, if you have a table with the data, if you use the truncate statement, we are saying to the compiler, okay, I am not giving any condition, just blindly remove whole data if you use the truncate statement. If compiler encounters truncate keyword, truncate table, table name, blindly it will remove the data without any checking, any criteria, complete table. If we give a delete from table name, then what happens, compiler will think maybe the user has given some criteria, or it is a delete statement, I have to do record by record, record by record. So then what happens, first it will delete the first record, second record, third record, fourth record, 100,000, 10,000. So in this way, record by record it will delete. So on a smaller table, we will not see much performance or time taking process. But if it is a huge table, like millions of data is there, if we want to delete complete data, then what happens, we'll go with the truncate statement, because truncate will do the removal of the data at once, not checking record by record, record by record. If we use like a delete statement, then it will take lot of time to remove the complete data, because it will do a row by row, row by row deletion. So this is the major difference. So if we are going with the large data set deletion, then we'll use the truncate statement. If it is a small table, we'll not see much difference with the delete and truncate. So on a truncate statement, again, you cannot use the filter conditions, like where trainee ID equal to 5, like that we cannot use. It's just a complete removal of the data from the table. Okay, so this is about truncate and delete difference also. Merge, as like I have confirmed, like I'll explain in the streams concept. But in the merge operation, we will do all the three to do activities. If you do want to do like all the three activities at once, then we will use that merge statement. Otherwise, if you want to perform only single insert or update delete separately on the separate data sets, then we'll use normally only. Okay, so this is about complete DML and DQL commands. So any doubts here?
How do we specify the range? Like say for example, I want to delete like 1 to 5.
Just using the filter condition between 1 and 5.
Okay.
So those are again like filter conditions functions, like extension of the SQL class.
I have one question. Like in yesterday, when you were starting the classes, I mean, like you were selected this account admin, right? What does that specify? Like,
Yes, account admin. Huh. See, every data warehouse or every database, we do have this roles concept. Like specific user have to do these activities. Specific roles have to do these activities. So if I just switch back, go and see, like we do have a system defined roles are there: account admin, org admin, user admin, and security admin, sys admin. Like this, default roles are there, public. So this particular each role has specific criteria. So account admin is a super role, completely super role for the account. You can do any operation with this account admin. Org admin, in the sense organizational level accounts information will be handling. Security admin will check the privileges of the objects. Sys admin manages the system objects. User admin will do creation of the user accounts, managing the user accounts. Everything will be handled by user admin. So we do have a specific criteria for each role. But as we are taken Snowflake trial version, defaultly ours we will get as a account admin default role. But in a real time projects, none of the roles will be assigned to us. A customized roles will be created. So based on your work, if you are a developer, then whatever the objects, like in the development environment, whatever the databases you are going to work, they'll give full permissions, full privileges to that role, and that role will be assigned to your ID. So in this way, this Snowflake role based hierarchy concept is worked. Suppose if it is a production support person, then for them just monitoring the data, fixing the issues. So at that time, like only the on the production environment, they do require access. So they'll provide the production requirement on the production environment, they will provide the access. So to control the access limitations, we will use this roles concept.
thank you.
Okay, any others have doubts? Okay, if not, like we'll just wind up today's call and see you in tomorrow's class.